Welcome to the Inner Darlings YouTube channel. My name is NaNoWriMo and this is my first post NaNoWriMo 2018 vlog. So, it has taken me way too long to make this video and way too long to get my blog post written. I really wanted to get it done faster, but I was actually a bit overwhelmed. The whole experience and my thoughts about it and looking at the data we collected, and actually didn't feel like I could immediately write it all down and be coherent about it. I'm still not certain if I'm coherent about it, but I didn't want to wait too long anymore, and here I am. We're halfway through December right now. I managed to get a severe cold, shortly after the stomach flu. We all got a severe cold shortly after the stomach flu. It's also the day we had snow. It melted, was gone by noon, but we had snow. So, yeah. I had a wonderful experience doing NaNoWriMo 2018. I kind of experienced about anything that I could and could not have thought of. From the predicted how difficult it would be to actually write, to the unpredictable fact that a couple of family members went into the hospital, and of one of them we weren't certain that she was going to come out. That was a pretty difficult point for me. I was very uncertain of how to deal with it. I was very emotional about that point. I also went through the moment where I just needed to take a break from writing, and the fact that at the end of the month I needed to take care of myself due to the stomach flu, and then I needed to take care of my husband and my child due to their stomach flu. So it was a struggle to get to the end. I won. I hadn't said that yet, but I did win. I wrote a little over 50,000 words, so I won, and I learned so much. If you want to know more about it in depth, go read my blog post. I wrote it all down, I put it all into words there, and the details are far more clear in that than I would be capable of speaking about. But I still wanted to make this video. I wanted to make this video to say thank you to everybody, no matter whom you are or where you're at. You took your time to watch me, and I want to say thank you for that. The videos are part of the accountability plan, more so than the blog posts are. And I know I haven't been capable of getting back to people, and I'm not very proud of that. I'm not very good with social media and the social aspects, and I kind of freeze when I shouldn't. But I'm planning on getting better with that. I'm definitely going to get better with that. But writing still comes first. I did learn a couple of things that I can say here, which are also in the blog post. I learned for a fact that family obligations, the obligations to my husband and my child, will always be the most important to me. Although I have alleviated the importance of writing in my life, it cannot top taking care of my child and my husband and being there with them and just spending time with them. There's nothing more important to me than that. That being stated, I also learned that writing really needs to be at a priority level that it's close to a necessity for me to act upon it, for me to write. I also learned, which if you see my previous videos, I have repeated a lot, that I need an outline. I want to do quality writing. I cannot do that if I don't know what I'm writing. But I'm also all over the place. Although I have a clear vision of what I want to achieve, the words don't always come out to show that. I have a lot of information in my head that would be better off on paper. Also, if I had an outline where I knew what I was going to write, juggling with several visions, several perspectives in one scene should be easier. There are not many scenes that I wrote over November that I can honestly say was good. And I only had 2 moments, maybe 3, in the entirety of the month. I wrote for 27 days of the 30, where I could say that I had the muse inspire me and it just all flowed out of me. And there was also one character that I have a very specific vision for that just didn't come out. And that's because I was putting down information that didn't need to be in those scenes. And I was putting it there so that I could remind myself of it later. In a way, I did more outlining work than I did actual draft work. I wouldn't publish this, I wouldn't let anybody read this. These 50,000 words are not good sentences. They actually have a lot of typos and they are sometimes repetitive. They miss chunks of story. It's a mess. And I'm happy it's a mess. For the longest time, I wanted to be the type of writer who could just sit behind a computer and it would flow out. There would be no need for prep work or any kind of outlining or rewriting, editing. I really believed it had to be that way because I was raised to believe it had to be that way. Yeah. That's a story of itself, how I was raised to believe that it had to be that way. But I believed it for a long time and it took a lot of hard work to get past that. And even though before NaNoWriMo I knew it intellectually, I knew better than that, it wasn't until I wrote like I did this month that I felt it. The experience now is part of me. I pantsed for the entirety of the month and I actually didn't enjoy it the way I want to enjoy writing. I had far too many complaints and far too many obstacles still due to pantsing it, due to not having had an outline. And I kept thinking, man, I wish I had an outline. Man, I wished I had the details figured out. I learned a few things about my story, or all of my stories for the future, that I didn't know before. And yes, one of them, once again, outlining. But the thing I learned the most is that in my stories, magic has such a big, prominent role that the system needs to be fixed. I need to know from the get-go how I'm going to portray it, what the rules are, and where I'm going with it. It's almost like a character or the environment. It's that huge to me. And I'll have to work that out pretty heavily too. So I'm really happy with the experience I've had. NaNoWriMo 2018 really was what I needed. I'm just tired. I was very tired at the end of November of writing every day. I was tired of being ill, and I'm still tired of being ill and getting a headache. it's been quite a ride, and as a whole it was very, very intense on the family, and we've made a couple of rules going forward. I'm only going to write for 4 days in a week. I'm going to try to write between 3,500 to 4,000 words, which should be about a double what I used to do. I am going to try to still make a vlog. I am going to first focus on outlining before I'm actually going to start writing, but we call that writing too. And a couple of other things that you can all read for in the blog. I had a talk with a friend of mine about the entire situation, about the experience, and there's something about writing that is difficult. And part of it is we write the stories we want to read. If we want to read the stories that we are trying to write, sometimes you just don't want to be the one writing them. You want to be the one reading them. You want to have the experience of reading them for the first time, not for having figured out every tiny little aspect of it. And that can be difficult. That's why consuming stories for me is just as important as creating them. But I've learned over time, through the years of not writing, that only consuming does not make me happy either. There's something about knowing that you can write, about knowing that I can write and that I could make my own stories, that kind of haunted me. And it's only by doing both that I can actually feel better about myself. But it's easy to just dive into the reading or the watching movies or watching series because the satisfaction is so fast. But there's nothing in there that compares to the discoveries you make in your own imagination or the adaptation you can do to them. I am far from ready. I am far from finished. I want to outline first, and I'm going to do my best to take that journey with the rest of you. That was a stupid sentence. I'm going to try my best to record that without actually giving my story away. I'm proud of everybody who keeps on trying and trying and trying. And I'd rather fail and fail over again at something that I truly love than that I don't have it in my life at all just because I gave up. And I just want to say that I understand if things don't work out. But don't give up. Don't ever give up. Take a break and try again. Find somebody who can support you, just one person. And don't ever forget you're writing for yourself more than you're writing for anybody else out there. Thank you for listening, and I hope to be back soon.